direction and surface for the attachments between two earthworms during copulation. Now as we observe the earthworm body, now this is the ventral side of the body, that is ventral side of the body. On the ventral side of the body, what is present? The mouth. In the same way, these are spermatical sac openings. Now this is the female genital pore, and these are the male genital pores, and these are the genital papillae, and these are the accessory glands. Now this is anterior and posterior end. As we observe the body of earthworm, the spermatical openings, female genital pore, male genital pores, genital papillae, accessory glands are all present on the ventral side, so that during the copulation, this is one earthworm, this is another earthworm. During copulation, both the earthworms unite ventrally in the opposite direction, because on the ventral side, spermatical sac openings, female genital pore, male genital pores, genital papillae, accessory glands are present, so that during copulation, both the earthworms unite ventrally in the opposite direction. At the time of copulation, the two earthworms held by what type of structures? Genital papillae. What type of glands? Accessory glands. Based on this information, you have to identify the answer. Now first option, opposed, that means opposite to each other with dorsally. Second, opposed to each other ventrally. Now what is the correct answer for this question? The second option. Now we go for the next topic, arthropoda up to locomotion. Now before going to the arthropoda, we have to discuss some introductory parts. In the kingdom Animalia, in all aspects, what is the biggest phylum? The arthropoda. In all aspects, what is the biggest class? Insecta. In the class Insecta, 3 pairs of legs are present, so called hexapoda. Now what is the taxonomic position of arthropoda? Phylum. What is the important character of arthropoda? Jointed appendages. Those animals having jointed appendages come under phylum arthropoda. Such arthropoda word was proposed by, we know very well, von Siebold. The arthropoda derived from Annelida. What is the connecting link between Annelida and arthropoda? That we call it as peripatus. As we observe the peripatus having both annelidan and arthropodan characters. Now we are discussing one by one question. While discussing the questions, regarding that question, we have to discuss what is the other information regarding that question. Now what is the first one? Regarding arthropoda. Now as we observe the first question, in arthropods, schizoscope is formed due to splitting of mesoderm. Now as we observe the assertion, in case of Annelida, arthropoda, mollusca, echinodermata, hemichordata, chordata. In these animals, what type of coelom? Eucoelom. What is meant by eucoelom? The coelom externally, internally covered by mesodermal epithelia. Now in Annelida, arthropoda, mollusca, the eucoelom is formed by splitting of mesoderm. So in Annelida, arthropoda, mollusca, the coelom is called the schizoscope. Now regarding the EAMCET point of view, in the body of arthropoda, the schizosylum confined to mainly the reproductive organs. What is the second correct answer? In the phylum Arthropoda, the schizosylum not only confined to reproductive organs but also confined to excretory organs. In the EAMCET examination, in the phylum Arthropoda, schizosylum mainly confined to. For that question, the answer is reproductive organs. If the schizosylum confined to reproductive organs as well as excretory organs, it means in Arthropoda, in the adult stage, what is the functional body cavity? Hemocoel. Why it is called hemocoel? Because it is filled with colorless blood. What is the other name of hemocoel? Perivisceral cavity. Now, the assertion in Arthropoda, schizosylum is formed due to splitting of mesoderm. Assertion is correct. Reason: in arthropods, what type of blood vascular system is present? Open type. What is meant by open type of blood vascular system? The blood flows in the sinuses. What is the meaning of sinuses? Spaces. Now, based on this information, A and R correct, but R does not explain the A. Now we go for the next question. In Arthropoda, different functional regions of the body are called. Now, as we observe, one example is insecta. As we observe the body of insecta, in the embryonic stage, how many segments? 20 segments. In the adult stage, how many segments? 19 segments. These 19 segments are classified into 3 tegma. Now, this is 1, 2 and this one we call it as third. Now, this is first tegma. This is second tegma. This is third tegma. What is the first tegma? Head. What is the second tegma? Thorax. What is the third tegma? Abdomen. In the head region, how many segments? 6. In the thorax, 3. In the adult stage, in the abdomen, how many? 10. Totally, how many segments in the adult stage? 19. Now, again we observe the question. In Arthropoda, the different functional regions of the body are called. The correct answer is tegmata. The formation of tegmata, we call it as tegmasis. The formation of tegmata is called tegmasis. Now, in these 3 tegma, what is the largest one? That we call it as abdomen. In the adult stage, 10 segments, but in the embryonic stage, in the abdomen, how many segments are present? 11 segments. So, in the embryonic, total number of body segments 20, whereas in the adult stage 19. Now, go for the next question. The embryo of cockroach contains. Now, in the embryonic stage as well as in the adult stage, in the head region, how many segments? 6. There is no difference. In the embryonic as well as adult stage, in the thoracic region, how many segments? 3. It will not be changed. In the adult stage, as we observe the abdomen, in the abdomen 10 segments, whereas in the embryonic stage, in the abdomen, how many segments? 11 segments. So, in the embryonic stage, total number of segments 20, whereas in the adult stage 19 segments. How they are arranged? In 3 tegma. The process of formation of tegma, we call it as tegmasis. Now, what is the answer? In the embryonic stage, how many segments? 20. Now, go for the next question. First pair of maxillae are attached to head capsule with the. Now, as we observe the head capsule, in the body of cockroach, the first tegma we call it as head. At all stages, it is made by 6 segments. The head is covered by a covering or layer that is called the head capsule. The head capsule is made by how many sclerites? 6 sclerites. What is the meaning of sclerites? The plates. Now, what are the 6 sclerites? Epicranial plates. They are 2 in number. Frons, that is 1 in number. Clypeus, that is 1 in number. Gene, 2 in number. Now, we have to count 2, 1, 1, 2. Total number of sclerites? 6. All sclerites unite in the form of a layer that is called a head capsule. Now here the question is, first pair of maxillae are attached to head capsule with Gallia, stipes, cardo, palpifer. Now here the answer is the cardo, second one. Now go for the next question. Unpaired mouth parts of cockroach. Unpaired mouth parts of cockroach. Now, as we observe the mouth parts of cockroach, they are called biting and chewing. In the body of cockroach, at all stages, biting and chewing type of mouth parts are present. What is the prominent part of biting and chewing? That we call it as mandibles. So, these are also called mandibulate type. Now, in the biting and chewing type of mouth parts, how many components are present? 7 components. Now, one we call it as the labrum. Second one we call it as the mandibles. Third one we call it as first pair of maxillae. And the next one is second pair of maxillae. What is the other name of second pair of maxillae? That we call it as labium or lower lip. Now the next one we call it as hypopharynx. It is also called tongue. It is also called supralingua. Now as we observe the labrum, it is 1 in number. Mandibles 2. First pair of maxillae 2. Second pair of maxillae 1. Hypopharynx 1. Now total number of components 2, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 components. Now out of 7 components, what are the unpaired? The labrum unpaired, the labium unpaired, and the tongue is unpaired. Now regarding the options, mandibles, they are 2 in number. Labrum 1 in number. First pair of maxillae 2 in number. What about the gene? 2 in number. Now unpaired is the labrum. Now go for the next question. As we observe the next question, the largest sclerite of head of cockroach. Now as we observe the head of cockroach, it is pear shape. This is anterior end, posterior end. The anterior end is pointed, posterior end is broad. Now as we observe the head of cockroach, these are epicranial plates. How many? 2 in number. Below epicranial plates, the largest plate, that we call it as the frons. Below frons, what is present? The smallest sclerite, clypeus. Now laterally, what are present? The gene plates. Now in the head region, what is the largest sclerite? Frons. What is the smallest? Clypeus. What are the lateral sclerites or cheek sclerites? The gene. The top of the head covered and protected by epicranial plates, or the vertex is covered and protected by epicranial plates. Now again we observe the question. The largest plate of the head of cockroach, pronotum, frons, clypeus and gena. The correct answer is the frons. Now go for the next question. As we observe the next question, the structures that are absent in the nervures. Again repeating, the structures that are absent in the nervures of wings of cockroach. First we observe the options, then we go for the explanation. Muscles, nerves, hemolymph and trachea. Now as we observe the wing of cockroach, now these are the wings. This part we call it as the wing. In the body of cockroach, two pairs of wings are present. Each wing is made by two layered cuticle. Now in each wing what are present? The chitinous structures are present. Now in each wing what are present? The chitinous structures are present. They are called the nervures. What is the other name of nervures? The veins. Now as we observe these nervures, what are passing through these nervures? One we call it as the tracheae. One we call it as the nerves. The third one we call it as the blood. That we call it as hemolymph. Now we observe the options. Muscles, nerves, hemolymph and trachea. What is the question? The structures that are absent in the nervures of wings of cockroach. What are absent? The muscles. What are present? The trachea, nerves and hemolymph. Now the nervures help in the classification of insects. So the nervures help in taxonomy or classification of insects. Now next question. In the leg of cockroach, plantulae are present on the, again repeating, plantulae are present on the. Now we observe the options, then go for the explanation. Dorsal surface of tarsomeres, lower surface of tarsomeres, dorsal surface of tibia, lower surface of tibia. Now as we observe the leg of cockroach, the first one we call it as coxa. It is broad, highly muscular. What is the smallest segment? Trochanter. The trochanter is fixed to the femur. The femur is followed by the tibia. What is the longest segment? Tibia. What is the thinnest segment? Tibia. What is the strongest? Femur. What is the horizontal segment? Femur. What is the broad and muscular? Coxa. What is the triangular smallest? Trochanter. Now what is the last segment? That we call it as tarsus. The tarsus having 5 tarsomeres. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The last tarsomere is called pretarsus. On either side of pretarsus, how many claws? 2 claws. Between claws, what is present? A bed-like structure called aurolium. Now here the question is plantulae. Now as we observe tarsomeres on the lateral sides or between tarsomeres or on the ventral side of tarsomeres, a small bed-like structure is present called plantulae. Now we observe, this is one leg. In each leg, how many plantulae? 4. In the body of cockroach, total number of legs? 6. Now in each leg, 4 plantulae. 6 into 4, how many plantulae? 24 plantulae. Now, what is the answer for this question? The plantulae present on the ventral side or on the lateral lower surface of first 4 tarsomeres. Now, the next question. Gynovalvular plates of female cockroach arise from. Now, as we observe the female cockroach, in the female cockroach, the 7th sternal plate, 8th sternal plate, 9th sternal plate. These 3 sternal plates unite to form a brood pouch. Now, what is meant by brood pouch? It is a box-like structure. Now, as we observe, this is the brood pouch. Now, in the brood pouch, this is the dorsal side. Now, this is the dorsal side. What is the other name of dorsal side? The roof. Now, this is the dorsal side or roof. Now, this is floor or ventral side. This one we call it as floor or ventral side. Now, these are called the lateral sides. These are called the lateral sides. Again repeating, this is brood pouch, a permanent box-like structure present in the body of female cockroach. Due to the presence of brood pouch, we can identify the female cockroach. It is formed by 7th, 8th, 9th sternal plates. Now, this is the dorsal side. The dorsal side made by 9th sternal plate. What about the floor? The floor is made by 7th sternal plates. What about the lateral sides? They are made by 7th sternal plates. Now, this is anterior wall. This is posterior end. Now, the anterior wall is made by 8th sternal plates. Now, I am drawing the diagram. Now, this is the brood pouch. Now, this is the floor. The floor is made by 7th sternal plate. Now, from the floor, the 7th sternal plate gives rise to gynovalvular plates. Gynovalvular plates produced by 7th sternal plate present on the floor. Now, the gynovalvular plates close the posterior end of the brood pouch. Now, the question is, gynovalvular plates of female cockroach arise from 7th sternum, 8th sternum, 9th sternum, 6th sternum. Now, what is the correct answer? The 7th sternum. Now, go for the next question. Now, what is the next question? In cockroach, fertilization takes place in. Now, this part we call it as the brood pouch. In the brood pouch, 2 chambers are present. This is anterior chamber, posterior chamber. The anterior chamber is called gynatrium. What about the posterior chamber? It is called oothecal chamber. Now, in the gynatrium, the sperm and ovum will undergo what process? Fertilization. Now, what is the site of fertilization? Gynatrium. After fertilization, we are getting the eggs. Now, the eggs transfer into oothecal chamber. In the oothecal chamber, the eggs are united to form egg case. The egg case is also called ootheca. Now, what are the questions? What is the site of fertilization? Gynatrium. Where egg case formation takes place? Oothecal chamber. Now, the answer is fertilization takes place in oothecal chamber, oviduct, ovipositor, gynatrium. The answer is gynatrium. Now, the next question is, anal cerci of cockroach originate dorsally from the junction between. Here the question is anal cerci. Now, as we observe the abdomen of male and female cockroach. As we observe the abdomen of male and female cockroach, now this is the abdomen. Now this part is abdomen. As we observe the abdomen, this is dorsal side and this is ventral side. On the dorsal side, what type of plates are present? On the dorsal side, the tergal plates are present. Now, how many segments in the abdomen? Adult stage, 10 segments. Now, the 10 segments are covered by 10 tergal plates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, this is dorsal side of abdomen. Dorsally, how many tergal plates are present? 10. T means tergal plates. Where tergal plates are present? On the dorsal side. Now the question is anal cerci arise between. The anal cerci arises from or between 9th tergal plate, 10th tergal plate. These are called anal cerci. In each anal cerci, how many segments are present? 15. Here also how many segments? 15. Now number of anal cerci 2. In each one how many segments? 15. Now total number of segments 30. So that anal cerci arises dorsally between 10th tergal plate and 9th tergal plate. Now the answer is first one 7th and 9th segments, 8th and 9th segments, 9th and 10th segments, 10th and 11th segments. Now the answer is 9th and 10th segments are between 9th and 10th tergal plates. Now the next question is which of the following abdominal segment has no sternum? Now the same diagram is applicable for this question. Again repeating, which of the following abdominal segment has no sternum? Now this is the male cockroach. This mark indicates male cockroach. This is female cockroach. In the male cockroach, how many segments in the abdomen? 10. In female, 10. Now in the dorsal side, how many tergal plates? 10 tergal plates. Now how many sternal plates? 9 sternal plates. Now what is the question? Which of the following abdominal segment has no sternum? Now this is the 10th abdominal segment. The 10th abdominal segment having the 10th tergal plate. But what is absent? The 10th sternal plate. Now what are the answers? 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Now the 10th segment has 10th tergal plate but no 10th sternal plate. The correct answer is 4th. Now go for the next question. Anal styles in male cockroach arise from. Now the question is anal styles. Take for example, this is the male cockroach. As we observe the abdomen of male cockroach abdomen is narrow and V-shape. Now as we observe, this is the 9th abdominal segment. On the ventral side of 9th segment, the diagram is elaborated. This is the 9th segment. The 9th segment dorsally covered by the 9th tergal plate. This is 9th tergal plate. On the ventral side, what is present? The 9th sternal plate. The dots indicate sternal plate. The dark line indicates tergal plate. In male cockroach, on the ventral side of the body attached to 9th sternal plate. What are present? Anal styles. They are absent in female cockroach. The anal styles is an example of secondary sexual characters. Based on anal styles, we can identify the male cockroach from that of female cockroach. Now observe the options. Sternum of 10th abdominal segment, tergum of 9th abdominal segment, tergum of 10th abdominal segment, sternum of 9th abdominal segment. So the correct answer is the 4th option. Now go for the next question. The arthroidal membrane is devoid of. The arthroidal membrane is devoid of. Now this is arthroidal membrane. Where arthroidal membrane absent? In the head region, arthroidal membrane absent. The arthroidal membrane is also called intersegmental membrane. What is the other name of arthroidal membrane? Intersegmental membrane. The arthroidal membrane is soft and flexible. Because of the presence of arthroidal membrane, as we observe the body of cockroach, the body of cockroach exhibits bending movements. Why it exhibits the bending movements? Because of arthroidal membrane. Why it is flexible? In the arthroidal membrane, only what is present? The epicuticle and endocuticle. Now what is absent in the arthroidal membrane? The exocuticle absent. Now we observe the question. Arthroidal membrane is devoid of. What is meant by devoid? Lacking or absent. 1. All cuticle layers, epicuticle, exocuticle, endocuticle. Now based on this information, what is the answer? What is absent? Exocuticle. Now next question. In cockroach, tripod is formed by these legs. Now in cockroach or insect, the tripod is formed by these legs. Now this is the body of cockroach. This part is called head. This is thorax. This is abdomen. Now this is right side and this is left side. In the body, how many legs are present? 3 pairs. Now you have to observe the diagram. Now this is right side legs, left side legs. Now this is right 1, right 2, right 3. This is left 1, left 2, left 3. Now this is called the foreleg. This is called middle leg. This is called hind leg. Now what is the function of foreleg? It pulls the body. What is the function of foreleg? It pulls the body. Now what about the middle leg? The middle leg acts as pivot. What is the meaning of pivot? Axis. What is the function of middle leg? It maintains the balance. Now what about the hind leg? It pushes the body. Now what is meant by tripod? What is meant by tripod? Now again I am drawing this diagram. L1, L2, L3, R1, R2 and R3. Now what is meant by tripod? 4 leg of one side, hind leg of the same side and middle leg of other side. Now this is one tripod. In a tripod what are present? 4 leg, hind leg of one side, middle leg of other side. This is one tripod. What is the other tripod? 4 leg, hind leg of this side and middle leg of other side. This is another tripod. Now based on this information, what is the correct answer? First option L1, L2, L3. Second R1, R2, R3. Third, L1, R2, L3. So the third option is correct. Now go for the next question. Match the following and choose the correct combination. Short and broad segments of leg. Strong, long segment of leg. Smallest podomere of leg. Podomere means segment. 5 segmented podomere of leg. Now I am drawing the rough diagram for this question. This part we call it as coxa, and this one we call it as trochanter. This one we call it as femur, and this one we call it as tibia, and the last one we call it as tarsus. It has 5 tarsomeres, claws and aurolium. And now these are the plantulae. Now the other side, femur, trochanter, tarsus, coxa, tibia. Now on the one side, short, broad segment. Now the coxa, this is short, broad, highly muscular. What about the trochanter? Smallest triangular segment. What about the femur? Horizontal, strongest. What about the tibia? Long and thin. What about the tarsus? It has 5 tarsomeres. Based on this information, you have to guess the correct answer for this question. The third option. Now we go for the next question. In cockroach, first pair of wings are called. In cockroach, first pair of wings. Now this part we call it as prothorax. This part is called mesothorax. This part is called metathorax. Now on the ventral side of prothorax, first pair of legs. On the ventral side of mesothorax, second pair of legs. On the ventral side of metathorax, third pair of legs. Now on the dorsal side of mesothorax, first pair of wings. On the dorsal side of metathorax, second pair of wings. Now name the thoracic segment. On the dorsal side, wings absent, prothorax. Now as we observe the mesothorax, on the dorsal side of mesothorax, the first pair of wings are present. They are called tegumina. They are also called elytra. They are also called the four wings. Again repeating, what is the other name of first pair of wings? Tegumina or elytra or four wings. What is their main function? Protection. If they are removed, the animal lost protection. Based on this information, what is the correct answer for this question? Tegumina. Now go for the next question. Position of stink glands in cockroach. It is a repeated main EAMCET. Now this is the 5th abdominal segment. Now this is 6th abdominal segment. In between 5th, 6th abdominal segments, what are present? One pair of stink glands. This question is also asked like this. The stink glands are also present between 5th tergal plate and 6th tergal plate of abdomen. Both are correct. The stink glands present between 5th abdominal segment and 6th abdominal segment, or it is also said to be the stink glands present between 5th tergal plate, 6th tergal plate of abdomen. Both are correct. Now what is the correct answer? Between 5th and 6th tergal plates. Now the next question. Arrange the following structures of cockroach in the ascending order depending upon the number of joints. Now first one maxillary valve, second one labial valves, third one flagellum of antenna, fourth one anal cerci. Now what is the first one? The maxillary valve. In the maxillary valve, how many segments? 5 segments. Now labial valve, How many segments? 3 segments. Flagellum of antenna, how many segments? Many. And anal cerci, in each anal cerci, how many segments? 15. Now what is the asking question? Arranged in the ascending order. Now as we observe the labial pulse, how many segments? 3. Now in the maxillary pulse, 5 segments. Now in the anal cerci, 15 segments. What about the flagellum? The many segments. This is ascending order. Based on this information, what is the correct answer for this question is second option. Now go for the next question. Through occipital foramen, what type of structures will come out? Now the last one is, this one we call it as the head of cockroach. On the back side of head of cockroach, what is present? Occipital foramen. Through this, what will come out? A blood vessel called aorta. And what will come out? The nerve cord. And what will come out? The trachea. And also what will come out? The esophagus. Now all these structures come out through occipital foramen. So occipital foramen is called gateway of aorta, nerve cord, trachea, esophagus. Now here options: esophagus, aorta, nerve cord are correct. What is not correct? Gonopophysis. We have to discuss the remaining part of cockroach in the next class.